The video opens with a vibrant, cinematic montage of Cebu's coastline, waves rolling softly, the sun illuminating the city's bustling life. The frame slowly transitions into a quiet neighborhood where a teenage boy begins to walk toward a small community music center. His footsteps echo as a soft instrumental hum rises, setting the tone for an extraordinary story. And then, the narrator's voice enters, warm and inviting. Welcome back everyone. If you're new here, make sure you stick around because today's story might just be one of the most unbelievable talent moments ever seen on a global stage. What you're about to witness is a journey that started in the heart of Cebu and shook one of the toughest judges in talent show history. So sit tight, turn up your volume, and let's dive into the performance that had millions talking and even made viewers say, Elvis himself would have been proud. Now we begin with our teen singer, a young Filipino boy whose voice had been whispered about in his school corridors for years. His classmates knew he could sing, his teachers praised him every chance they got, and neighbors described his voice as something that didn't just echo through walls, it echoed through hearts. But what made this young man's talent even more captivating was the simplicity of his life. No expensive vocal training, no professional sound equipment, no big studio, only passion, determination, and an admiration for old-school music legends. He grew up listening to songs his parents loved, classics from the 70s and 80s, especially the electrifying and soulful tracks of Elvis Presley. For him, Elvis wasn't just a singer, he was the voice that taught him how to feel music. Every lyric was a lesson. Every note was a doorway into the emotion behind the melody. He would often sit on the rooftop of his home, overlooking the busy Cebu streets, singing along to some of Elvis's greatest hits, imagining what it would feel like to stand in front of a massive audience one day. But as life often does, the dream remained a dream for a while. With limited financial resources and responsibilities at home, singing became a part of his daily routine rather than a professional pursuit. Yet, the dream never faded. It stayed with him like a whisper in the wind, reminding him that even the largest stages in the world have room for stories like his. One afternoon, while singing during a small school event, someone recorded a short clip of his performance. He didn't know about it at first, and when he finally saw the video online, it had already started gaining attention. People began sharing it with captions like "This voice belongs on a real stage" or "This kid has something special." What began as a casual school performance turned into a viral moment within Cebu. The clip eventually reached a former AGT contestant living in the Philippines, who immediately recognized the extraordinary potential in his voice. She contacted him and encouraged him to audition for the global show. At first, he laughed nervously. Him, on that stage, the stage where careers were made, where only the most brilliant stars shined. It felt impossible, but she insisted, reminding him that talent like his deserved to be seen by the world. After weeks of convincing, discussions with his family, and battling his own doubts, he finally agreed. The audition date was set. He had never traveled far from Cebu before, and this journey felt surreal. Boarding the plane felt like stepping into an entirely new world. He gazed out the window, imagining the crowd, the lights, the pressure, and of course, the judges, especially Simon Cowell. The name itself carried weight. Simon was known for his brutally honest critiques, for shutting down performances that lacked spark, and for setting a standard so high that even seasoned performers feared him. But at the same time, getting praise from Simon was like receiving a golden seal of approval. And this Cebu teen was about to face him. When he arrived backstage at the AGT studio, everything looked larger than life. The lights, the cameras, the buzzing crowd of contestants with different talents, it felt overwhelming. Yet, through the chaos, he remained focused. He clutched the small pendant his mother gave him before leaving home, whispering to himself that he wasn't just singing for himself, he was singing for his family, for Cebu, and for everyone who believed in him. Finally, his number was called. The stage door opened. The crowd erupted in applause as he stepped into the spotlight. His hands trembled slightly, but when he looked into the audience, he felt a wave of calm wash over him. The judges greeted him, and when Simon asked where he was from, he answered with pride, "Cebu City, Philippines." The crowd reacted instantly with supportive cheers. You could see the admiration in the audience's faces. There's something powerful about seeing young talent come from humble beginnings with dreams bigger than the world itself. When asked what he would be singing, he took a deep breath and answered, an Elvis Presley classic. This response immediately sparked curiosity. Singing Elvis was no small task. His voice, tone, and iconic musical charisma were difficult to replicate, and even harder to reinterpret in a way that felt fresh and authentic. The judges exchanged looks. Some smiled. Simon leaned back, intrigued. This was either going to be a spectacular moment or a risky disappointment. But the team didn't waver. He nodded at the band, and the first instrumental notes filled the auditorium. The second he began the first line, the entire atmosphere changed. His voice didn't just resemble Elvis, it carried the same deep emotional texture, the same soulful warmth, the same magnetic pull that made Elvis a timeless icon. The audience gasped. Some stood within seconds. It was lightning in audio form. No artificial strain, no forced mimicry. It was pure authenticity, like he wasn't imitating Elvis, he was channeling him. The richness of his lower notes, the vintage tone of his vibrato, the power behind his emotional reach, it all felt unreal. Simon's expression shifted, his eyes widened, his posture straightened, and for the first time in the performance, he leaned forward, elbows on the table, studying the boy intensely. This was the Simon Cowell look reserved only for the rarest talents. The kind that made the audience whisper amongst themselves. The kind that said, "This is special." As the song built toward the chorus, the teen's confidence soared. You could see it in the way he loosened up, the way his hand moved naturally with the rhythm, the way he closed his eyes as if absorbing the entire emotional weight of the moment. His voice filled every corner of the venue, traveling through the rows, climbing the walls, and settling into the hearts of every listener. When he hit the high emotional note, the audience roared. Some people placed their hands over their mouths, shocked. Others clapped mid-performance, and a few wiped tears from their eyes. This wasn't just a performance, it was a rebirth of a classic voice, delivered by someone who loved music so deeply that it translated into every breath he took on stage. By the time he finished, the entire auditorium was on their feet. A standing ovation, an overwhelmingly loud one, and at the judges' table, something even more shocking happened. Simon Cowell stood up, not slowly, not hesitantly, but instantly. He clapped with a genuine smile, an expression rarely seen. He nodded at the young singer as if silently saying, "You did it, you really did it." When the applause finally settled, Simon looked at him and said, "That was one of the most authentic and powerful tributes to Elvis I have ever heard. If Elvis could hear you right now, I think even he would be proud." The crowd erupted again, cheering wildly. The teen's eyes welled up with tears. He covered his mouth, overwhelmed by the moment. This was beyond anything he had imagined. This was beyond his dreams. Another judge added, "Your voice brought Elvis back to life in the most beautiful way. But you're not just an impressionist. You're an artist. You made the song your own." The third judge chimed in with praise about his control, his emotional delivery, and the natural richness of his tone. Each comment felt like a metal pinned to his chest. Each word carried weight, validating the years of passion he carried silently in his heart. When the voting moment arrived, the result was unanimous. 4 giant yeses, 4 affirmations that he belonged on that stage. 4 signals that his life was about to change forever. And as he walked off stage, the cameras captured him shaking, laughing, crying, overwhelmed by what had just taken place. Backstage crew members congratulated him. Contestants applauded. It was a moment of pure victory, not just for him, but for everyone watching who believed that talent has no boundaries, no limits, and no geographic restrictions. Over the next few days, the performance spread like wildfire. Social media platforms were flooded with clips of his audition. Reactions poured in from all over the world. People from the US, Europe, the Middle East, Asia, and of course, the Philippines shared the video, praising his voice and celebrating his success. Some wrote that they hadn't felt this emotional watching a performance in years. Others said that his voice transported them back to their favorite eras of music. Many Elvis fans commented, saying they felt goosebumps throughout the performance. As days turned into weeks, his audition became one of the most watched videos of the season. Music enthusiasts posted breakdowns analyzing his vocal tone. Reaction channels created videos showcasing their emotional responses. Filipino communities across the globe expressed pride, reminding the world of the incredible talent their country produces. It wasn't just an audition anymore. It was a cultural moment. But beyond the fame and the views, what mattered most to him was seeing the joy in his parents' eyes when they watched the clip back home. They sat together in front of their TV screen, replaying the performance over and over, unable to believe how confidently he sang on such a massive stage. His father said softly, "You did what many only dream about." His mother held his face and said, "Elvis was your teacher, but you gave the world your heart." The words lifted his spirit higher than any praise he received online. In interviews that followed, he remained humble, explaining that he didn't expect such a huge reaction. He said he simply wanted to share his love for music and pay tribute to the artist who inspired him. But his humility made people love him even more. The world saw not only a gifted vocalist but also a kind, grounded, sincere Filipino teen with a heart full of gratitude. His journey through the competition continued to gather momentum. Each performance brought something new: emotion, power, stage confidence, musical storytelling. And every time he stepped on stage, you could see how much he treasured the experience. He didn't take the moment for granted. He treated every song as if it were the most important one he would ever sing. As the season progressed, fans continued to support him passionately. They organized online voting groups, shared posters, created fan pages, and even held watch parties. Filipino communities worldwide united, celebrating every milestone he achieved. Cebu proudly claimed him as their rising star, naming him the teen who shook Simon Cowell with nothing but pure talent. But beyond the competition results, beyond the votes, and beyond the fame, something deeper happened. His story inspired millions of young dreamers from small towns, reminding them that your background doesn't define your destiny. You may begin your journey on a rooftop singing to the wind, but one day, if you keep believing, you could be singing on the world's biggest stage with millions watching. Answer. As we close this story, we remember the performance that sparked it all. A simple Cebu teen with a powerful voice stood on a stage far from home and created a moment so unforgettable that even one of the toughest judges in the world was moved. A performance that revived nostalgia, honored a legend, and introduced the world to a brand new star. A performance that made people say, even Elvis would be proud. If you enjoyed this story and want more inspiring journeys like this, don't forget to stay connected, keep watching, and keep supporting incredible talents from around the world. Make sure your speakers stay ready, because stories like these are proof that the next superstar might already be singing somewhere right now, waiting for their own moment to shine.